Excellent, Kiefer. Excellent.
Thrill me.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks podcast. I'm your host, Tim, and today I'm joined by the one and only Justineagewasteland. How's it going?
It's going good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I'm super stoked to have you on the show, and you picked a banger of a film with Freeway from 1996, which, before we dive into that, I want to give you room to promote anything. I know you work with Frightmare as well as do a lot of stuff on your own. Do you just want to let the people know about anything you got coming up?
Yeah, so Frightmare, we have our final off-season event next Saturday, the 11th. It's The Unholy. And then on July 11th, we have our first cast call. We do our other one in August. I can't remember the exact date, but if you want to come join the family, come try out, see if you got what it takes. Number one haunt in Virginia. We'd love to have you. So it's real good.
And I'll put some links in the description so people can, go follow the socials and see when the next, casting call is going to be and everything. So
yeah, I need like 10 more followers so I can go live again. All my bot followers get deleted and then I can't go live anymore.
Right. All the people that just slowly get like weaned out or the spam people finally get canceled, like closed or whatever.
Yeah,
So
I'm like, damn it, I'm not that well liked. Shit.
No, I noticed that on mine too. Every now and then I'm like, damn, I dropped like 10 people. It must have been just the bots either finally dropping or people that were finally fed up with Instagram as well, just deactivating. So
yeah, I got like in trouble a couple years ago and like got like banned from going live. It was a whole thing. And then I finally was able to do it again. And then they're like, nope, sorry, got to have 1,000 followers. And I'm like, damn it.
Damn, I didn't know that. That's wild. It doesn't surprise me that they limit shit all the time. But they, what's crazy is they got rid of Lauren's old account. Like literally just completely got rid of it for her like playing music in the background while she was like hula hooping and stuff. And she could not get it back no matter what. Nowadays, you can literally just go up there and add music, like literally the same music that she probably had in the videos. You could just add to a Facebook video or an Instagram video. It's like, that's so fucked up that they literally let you add the stuff to your video now, but before they were literally deleting accounts for it. So
the internet, man.
Right. But everybody's got to get that money for the copyright. If they're not getting money from it, they don't want you to use it. So
it's true.
But hell yeah.
That's why we love a physical copy.
Right. Hell yeah. I got it right here too. The little.
Oh, nice. Oh, you got a different background. I got this one.
That's because I got this is the double. It's got Freeway 2 with it as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got this. It's 4K. I don't even have 4K, but I was like, I have to have it on every format because it's my favorite movie.
Fuck yeah. No, great choice for a favorite movie. We could dive into Freeway, unless you have anything else you want to promote.
I don't really know. The Narrows having Jaws playing this weekend, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to go to that. Other than that, I want to stay out of this heat. Rest up before spooky season gets, into crazy gear in September. So, I might do some special appearances at some other, haunts. Every now and then I'll pop up at other places. So we'll see. But, I'll be doing my thing with costume contests at Tidewater Horror Convention and whatever other cons want to have me. So, I'm here to dress up and have fun. So.
No, and I'll definitely see you at Tidewater Horror Convention, and if not sooner, at Trivia Night in August. So.
Oh yeah. I never win, but it's so fun.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I was so stoked to have you on the show because I've gotten to know you through like the local like horror community for a long time, and you always come out and support at Trivia Night and stuff. So I wanted to have you on the show to kind of promote your stuff. So, but no, hell yeah. No, we could dive into Freeway. You said it's your favorite film, which of course is probably the main reason you chose it. But do you want to let the people know why this was your pick? And then, of course, do you remember the first time you saw Freeway?
Yeah. Well, first I was like thinking horror movies, and I'm like, okay, immediately I want to do Halloween 6. And then I'm like, wait, any movie not on this list? I know what I can talk about a lot. I first saw it when I was probably, I don't know, at middle school. I don't know what age exactly. My mom had it on VHS and I just thought it was amazing and I would borrow it from her all the time. And then in high school, I would bring it to my friend's house and we'd watch it after school, and then we'd have other people come over and we'd show it to people, and we were like, this is so fucked up. And oh, am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. But I'd be like, this movie is so insane, you have to watch it. And there's slight parallels to my life in there. Not to the extent of the movie, but just
Yeah.
little family craziness. So we would joke like, oh yeah, that's my mom. That's what, not really, but we just had a lot of fun watching it and introducing it to people over the years. And then, eventually I got it on DVD and Blu-ray, which I don't know where my Blu-ray went, but then I got it on 4K and I was super excited about it. But I used to literally make people watch it with me on my birthday every year.
Oh yeah.
Like I'd be like, come over and watch my favorite movie with me for my birthday. And I also had a potato party when I was like 19. I was living with my cousin and she was like, yeah, we're going away for Thanksgiving or whatever. We need you to finish the food in the fridge, make sure you finish the bag of potatoes. And I'm like, I don't know how to cook a potato. So my friend knew how to cook. So he came over so he can make mashed potatoes. So I invited like 6 friends over, literally, to make mashed potatoes and watch Freeway with me.
Oh yeah.
And my cousin found out and thought I threw this huge party and got so pissed at me. She still to this day does not believe that I didn't throw a huge ass party. But I was like, literally, it was eating potatoes and watching Freeway because that was my idea of fun.
Right.
And then, yeah, so I would do that every year. And then eventually I started just doing like a costume party. And then eventually I stopped watching it with or I stopped making people watch it with me, but I just watch it by myself whenever I want. So,
No, I feel you.
yeah.
No, Heather's was my birthday movie for many years. I'd make everybody watch Heather's with me and stuff, but now I might have to switch up and make them watch Freeway because
It's so good.
yeah, Freeway is one that I'm kind of new to. I saw it for the first time back in 2024 when Joe Bob showed it on his
Oh, wow.
Valentine's special. And but this is exactly the type of movie I love. Like, and it even goes further than some of the stuff I like grew up loving. Like, I love movies like Drop Dead Gorgeous, Drowning Mona, like
Oh,
anything that's like dark and like kind of fucked up in a way. But
it's like weird, quirky, cult classic kind of stuff. I love it.
yeah, like any dark humor is like perfect for me. And then the fact that this goes to an extra extreme in certain moments
Yeah.
makes it even better. So now I was immediately in love with this. And I've got the 2-pack, but I still haven't seen Freeway 2.
I've
And
only
we,
seen parts. I'm like, I always feel like a fraud when I'm like, oh, it's my favorite movie. Have you seen the sequel? No.
you
5 minutes of it. But the original is just so good.
no, and I feel bad too because like I literally own it and stuff and had it for over, I got it at maybe last year's Tidewater Horror Convention. I got it from Vinegar Syndrome at a con.
Mhm.
So I don't think it was. I think it was even before that because I don't think they were at last year's Tidewater Horror Con. But either way, I got it from Vinegar Syndrome, like actually at a convention, and still haven't watched the sequel. And we decided like just yesterday to do Freeway. So I did the same thing as you and rewatched that before we hopped on. So or like a little bit before we hopped on. I had to do some stuff in between, but no, I'm actually probably going to watch Freeway 2 as soon as we get off of here. So at least by the
Nice.
time this episode comes out, I'll have seen it. But if I don't fall asleep, because it'll be kind of late. But
I feel that. Yeah, I was like, let me watch the new one because I know there's like extra scenes and stuff in there. And like, I love Vinegar Syndrome. I got mine from them as well. I think it was at like Monster Mania or something a couple years ago. But I noticed on the back it says, it's on the inside.
I meant
Her
it.
father, an abusive drunk. And I'm like, it's her stepdad. You need to fix that. Her dad's
You know,
dead. So
and he's not only a drunk, he's like a drug addict too. He's like,
yeah, he's methed out of his mind. Like,
yeah,
yeah. I'll have to send a picture. I don't know if you could put it, but I have a friend who Freeway's also her favorite movie. So one year for my birthday, she drew me a picture of like the cartoon in the beginning,
oh hell yeah,
and it's like right above my head, sleep, but it's like way up, hard to get to. But I could
yeah.
take a picture of it.
No, and that was another thing that immediately had me sold on the movie was that animated beginning. It reminded me of like Drop Dead Fred and Freaked and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Just all these movies I loved from the '90s and stuff. So I was immediately in.
Like you don't realize how like creepy it is at first. You're like, oh, I can see her panties. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You're like, this is a dark movie. But yeah, I when I watched it earlier, um, there were some extra scenes because I know almost, pretty much every word. I'll be real annoying and quote the whole thing to you if I watch it with you, which is probably why I had to stop making people watch with me. But the scene at the end with the grandma, I was like, whoa, they're showing a whole lot more grandma than they did in the regular version. So I went on IMDb and I found out, well, she passed away in 2006, but she was known as the grandmother of porn.
Yeah.
And she did like, I don't know, like 1,500 porn movies or something, like a
Holy shit.
lot of porn. And I was like, I never knew that until right now. So that's crazy.
Makes sense that she went spread eagle because I was in the same thing as you. Is like I
Yeah.
remember seeing it not this like even though I just saw it recently, I feel like the version I saw had that scene edited for some reason.
Yeah, it
But
was a
yeah,
whole
this
lot more
rewatch caught me
going
off
on.
guard. Yeah, she's
Yeah, I
like
was like,
tied up straight,
yikes.
spread out, everything. I was like, whoa, fuck, didn't expect that.
Yeah. Well, apparently she was into that.
Right, they picked the right person.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, hell yeah. But diving into the film, what was some of the things that like sucked you in? Of course, we talked about the beginning intro scene, but then of course, Reese Witherspoon is immediately like just
Oh
thrust
my,
into the shitty world of
yeah,
like,
like just her accent and the things that
yes,
she says just give me life. Like it's so good. Um, like I don't remember if I originally watched it from the beginning or if it was just something that I caught like my mom watching or something like halfway through, but it was like one of those movies like I knew I had seen before and then I was like, "Wait, you own it. Let me watch this." And then I would start borrowing it all the time. But it's like so trashy and amazing. Like it's I don't know, like her resilience is so good and like you just always root for her and I'm always like I hope she didn't end up going to jail even though she definitely needed to because she killed so many people along the way.
right,
But like you just feel bad because not a lot of movies, at least back then, would talk about like how bad the system is, like, in foster care or in the prisons and stuff. And why are they in prison with sneakers with shoelaces? I noticed that today. I was like, none of these are slip-ons. You're all gonna kill each other. She tried to kill some girl with a pencil. Like, no.
yeah.
Yeah, the continuity errors I always love to pick up on.
It wasn't in the budget. They were like, fuck,
Yeah.
we don't. They're like, they accidentally sent them the wrong thing. They're like, well, we can't afford another pair, so we just gotta rock with it. But
Yeah.
no, I wonder if there is a little story behind that. But the only little factoid I found about the movie out beforehand, because like I spent most of the time like watching the movie instead of like doing research and stuff, was Kiefer Sutherland apparently didn't want to do the role, and then he really wanted to do a film with Oliver Stone, who produced this.
Hmm.
And so Oliver Stone brought him on set of whatever movie he was shooting at the time. I think it was maybe JFK or something, but it
Hmm.
was he brought him into like the Oval Office set and literally had him like sit across from him and like kind of reverse psychology him into taking the role. He was like, uh, he's like, you don't want to do it because he's like, you can't handle it. And he was like, no, I can handle it. He's like, I just don't want to do it. And he was like, no, I don't still think, he's like, I don't think you can do it, like, because it's so like gritty of a role. And he said, by the time I left that office, he's like, I was doing the role. So, and then he eventually got to work with Oliver Stone later, but it was just
That's fun.
hilarious. But it makes sense. I wouldn't want to do it either. I mean, some of the stuff he says is so fucking rough, but
Oh, yeah. And like it's funny, I was watching a bunch of like the behind the scenes like interviews and stuff and like Brooke Shields, I always feel like she would probably be so uncomfortable. Like, why the hell am I here? And like, because it was, an indie film. So like they had already had, decently successful careers. So it's always nice when, you know, bigger names pop up in those indie films. And like even going back and watching that, I'm like, hey, that's the guy. He's in this movie. And like you just can pick out all the connections. It's like before IMDb, we just did it with our brains.
yeah. Right? Like, I just realized watching this like this time around, I was like, because I'm a huge fan of Elena Dubach, and
Mhm.
her being in this, I didn't realize that they reunited her and Reese Witherspoon in Legally Blonde, because I always forget that Dubok's in that because she's in it such a short time. She's like her friend before she goes to college and stuff. But
I recently watched that and I picked up on it because I guess I just didn't pay attention back in the day. But my friends and I like had a marathon and I was like, oh my God. And then I just Googled, IMDb'd, read about her life. And then like, the dad from Clueless and the Mosquito's boyfriend. He's the guy from Half Baked and Chappelle Show. So
yeah,
like I quote him all the time from those things, and I'm just like, I am just extra annoying when I see these people. I'm
right.
like,
No, and she does a good job of chameleon and because in Legally Blonde, which same with Reese Witherspoon, but she
Mhm.
plays like very like ditzy, just like sorority girl. And in this movie, she plays like a Latina like badass pretty much. She's like
Yeah,
a fucking like soft spoken, like I'll cut you type girl. So it's
yeah,
awesome to show her range within like 3 years of films. So
yeah. I remember being really excited when I saw her in Waiting
yeah,
because I was like, oh my God, she's from Freeway, and like I forget that people have real names and other roles. I'm just like, it's my favorite. I love it.
yeah. No, but this movie's got so many people, and it's got like you say connections. You got the dad and Brittany Murphy, both from
Mhm.
Clueless.
Yeah.
Uh, so like, there's other people that connect in different ways. Plus, the Danny Elfman did the score, which was
Yeah.
wild, and it made sense after I found that out. But it feels like so 90s. It's almost like Ren and Stimpy-ish at times, but then also
Yes. It's a
like
good comparison.
Primus at times. But
Yeah. And then like the guy who played Chopper, he went on to like have a really successful career. He won some awards and I'm just like, damn, that was Chopper. Like it's like they were such small names at the time, but now like they have like these big careers and I'm just like, I'm so proud of everybody. This movie's so good. Everybody should watch it with me.
yeah. No, it's one of those movies that I feel like more people like the more people that see it, the more people that'll love it. I'm glad that it got the restoration and stuff because I feel like it gave it like a second wind for sure. Because
Mhm.
like I said, I'd never seen it until Joe Bob showed it, which I feel like he only showed it because of the restoration.
Yeah.
But without that, he might not have. So
And then like it's just so quotable too. It's, you can't quote it around children, but I'll just walk around and be like, fuck you, chipmunk face, and your fucking skipper wife. Like, I'll just say shit all the time and be really annoying. And I just love it so much.
yeah, there's so many lines that Reese Witherspoon says, and I'm like, that's probably my favorite line ever. And then she says something else 10 minutes later. I'm like, nope, that's probably my favorite line ever.
Yeah. Like, if I ever were to meet her and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan. Freeway's my favorite. She'd probably be like, what the fuck? Because everybody's like, oh, Legally Blonde and all this other stuff that she's done that's been like super successful. But I'd be like, no, this is it. Which I have a
Yeah.
funny story for you too. Um, so I was at Monster Mania a couple years ago, and Kiefer Sutherland was going to be there because they had a whole like Lost Boys reunion.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't necessarily want to meet him because his line was literally 8 hours long, and I can't. I'm not waiting 8 hours for anything. It's just too much. But I cosplayed Vanessa,
Oh
and I
yeah.
just wanted to like walk by his table and have him see me because I knew he'd be like, I see what you did there. And like we would have a connection because
Yeah.
I got it as spot on as I could and it was so fun. But I never got to see him because his line was ridiculously long.
Yeah, Lost Boys fans are nuts. Plus, he's one of those people that it's weird because like he'll have like 24 fans come out of the woodwork to a horror convention just because they love him like that show so much and stuff. So
Yeah.
no, yeah, they swarm at tables. It's kind of like Doctor Who fans when they like we went to a convention to meet the Office people
Hmm.
and we met the guy that played. We met Stanley, Meredith, Creed, and we were gonna meet Nellie. But we got autographs from everybody and met everybody, and we walked right up to them. They were awesome. But Nellie's line, because she was from the show Doctor Who, was
Hmm.
literally like hours long. And I was like, I guess we'll just meet Nellie when we take the photo, like because we did a group photo op and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we just met her real quick then. But no, it's wild how some of those fandoms, especially like at horror conventions, there'll be those people that did a horror film or they did
Hmm.
like a sci-fi film or both, and then people come out of the woodwork. That's like when I went and met Sam Raimi. So many people, like of course I got Evil Dead 2 signed, and
That's
waited in line 6 hours, and so many people were there with Spider-Man stuff, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like at Monster Mania. So,
yeah. My first time to Monster Mania, they had a bunch of people from Sons of Anarchy,
oh yeah,
so it was just packed with non-horror people, and I was like, "What is going on?"
yeah.
I don't know anything about this show, but
No, I went to a con
yeah,
that had those guys as well, and I had the same reaction. I was like, "Oh, that's cool, but I'm here to meet Sid Haig, so I'll just do that." But
yeah.
rest in peace.
R.I.P. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was so nice. I did like a an art deal with him at a con once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like my friend had some pictures that he drew of him, and then he wanted me to show him because he couldn't leave his table. So I went and showed him, and Sid was like, "All right, have him bring me like 10 and I'll sign one for him, and then I could sell them at my table too." And I was like, "I'm like an art broker or something right now." Okay.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I got to facilitate that, and that was like a year or two before he died. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, he was such a nice guy. That was
Oh
I met
yeah.
him. Yeah, it was probably like around the same time I met him then, because I met him probably like 2, 3 years right before he passed. I was like, damn, glad I met him. But at the same time, it was like, uh, when I met him, you could tell that he was already like aging. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's such a big presence on screen. And then I met him, and he looked like a little old man. I was like, damn, it sucks to watch people age. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
uh, especially people that you grow up like seeing the same ways for so long. You know what I mean? Because it's not
Yeah.
like he's been in stuff. You know, as he's been older, he's kind of been off screen for a while. So except for like little cameos and stuff. Uh, but no, yeah, diving back into Freeway, you mentioned one thing I agree with 100% that you mentioned is how like they show that the system failed her, and they also do a good job of showing that like from scene one that she's not book smart, but damn if her street smarts aren't good enough to get her through
Uh-huh.
life. Like the way
And
she fucking
I was just noticing at the end, when she's like, I don't know what city she's in, or I guess she's in Stockton, but
yeah,
she's speaking not a lot, but she's speaking some fluent Spanish.
yeah,
Like she's making her way, she's doing what she can, but like I'm like, this girl can barely read a sentence, and like how is she in high school if she can't even read? Like they're failing these children on every level. It's
yeah, and the way
terrible.
that the like teacher talks her through it and stuff, like no, I agree. It's like in a satirical way, but like
Yeah,
because it's so over the top, but at the same time, it's like it does like have
it
a
does
lot of
happen.
yeah, it has a lot of truth to that stuff,
Yeah,
because of like of how much they just push kids through just to get them through the schools and out of their hair and stuff. But
yeah,
especially in those really like populated cities and stuff like that, and like Cali and whatnot. But
yeah,
no, yeah, and then of course she goes through like watching her mother get arrested at the same time as she's getting freaking groped by her stepdad, and
yeah. Oh, Larry.
no, that scene's probably the most that scene, and then of course the stuff Kiefer Sutherland starts saying to her are definitely like the two most uncomfortable scenes within the movie and stuff. Like everything else is like
Oh
even
yeah.
some of the humor gets uncomfortable for certain people, I guess, depending
Hmm.
on how easily you get offended. But those are the scenes that I feel like make everybody uncomfortable, even if you're into like offensive shit. So
Yeah, like they're very intense, and yeah, and I just noticed watching it again how he even had his pants off when the cops come, and I'm like, I don't think I registered that previously, but I'm just like, they don't even got a sheet on the bed. Like this, such trashy living. Like I don't know how many rooms they have in that motel though. It's pretty big. So
no, and they don't really make a point of it at all. But the fact that she had already at that point, not to go too deep, but the fact that at that point she had already stopped reacting, you know what I mean? It just showed that it was like normal, to
yeah,
her, and she'd already been dealing with it and stuff. So, but
yeah, poor girl. I love her.
right, which as hard as that scene is, it kind of it works well for what comes later when she does link up with Kiefer Sutherland, and he uses like her like upbringing, to get trust with her and stuff.
Hmm.
That's one of my favorite moments is, of course, when he makes that shift to where he starts saying like crazy shit to her. It sucks, but
Oh, then the
which
music changes too. It's like, oh,
yeah,
it's so good.
and when I say it sucks, I don't mean it sucks in a way of like the movie sucks. I mean it sucks in a way of like that's when you start to feel icky and uncomfortable. It's like, oh, dude, this dude's
Yeah,
fucking
it's like immediate. Like, oh God.
yeah. my sister-in-law was over here and she like came upstairs for a second when I was watching the movie,
Mhm.
and literally like that's she was just like watching it for a second, then went to go back downstairs, and she was like, uh, I don't know why this was her assessment, but she was just like, "Is he gay?" And I was like, "No, he's a serial killer." And I was like, but she was just like immediately knew something was supposed. She was like, "Oh," she's like, "I just knew something was supposed to be like off about him because of the way
Mhm.
that uh like it was obvious that he wasn't like normally into Reese Witherspoon's character. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was either an infatuation there or there was gonna be something. So I think because she hadn't seen the beginning of the movie, she was just like, "Is he gay?" I was like, "No, he's dressed like Jeffrey Dahmer." I was like, "What are you talking?"
Yeah, he does have some Dahmer qualities, that's for sure.
You know, but no, and then he the way that he starts uh like when he first picks her up, he does a good job of like getting to know her, but then immediately realizing that there's weaknesses to exploit and like just starts picking at those, but in a way that doesn't feel like he's pushing his boundaries and stuff. But so it leads up to it makes that like switch flip part. That's one thing about this movie I feel like it does so well is it
Mhm.
introduces people and shows you so much about them so quickly. You know what I mean? So like you get to see like what kind of predator he is by how much he's able to like learn small things about her, attach to those things to gain her trust, and then immediately shift those same things to like play his game, I guess, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word term. But
And I just always wonder, like, so he, works at a boys' school. Like, is he doing anything to them? Is he teaching them his ways? Like, because he's got the power to do either, which is really scary.
you know,
He definitely is predator, like, classic definition right there.
no, 100%. And he even like Brooke Shields later on when he gets caught up, she even
Mhm.
makes the comment. She says like little kids or something like
Like,
that,
those
which of
were
course,
children. And they're like, yeah.
yeah, which I mean, she could of course be referring to the fact that the girls were all like underage and stuff, but it could even be like you said, it could even be that there was photos because there's like photos that fall out, but they don't flip over and you don't really see any of them, and there easily could have been photos of some of the children from his school or anything like that. So definitely more lore behind the. That's one thing I like is that you don't get everything like details. You just know that this dude's a serial killer of disgusting
Yeah.
sorts. But
During my rewatch, I didn't pay attention to that scene as much to see if there's any difference because I'm pretty sure it's just females.
yeah,
You know, when I watched it previously, but I didn't see if there was any difference in like the other cuts of the movie. But now I'm
yeah.
like, I gotta watch again and find out. But there's
Now
like, I think 5 different versions or something on this disc because I hit reel one and just started playing, and then there was like slight differences because I start quoting it and I'm like, wait, that's not how it goes.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. That's how I feel. I was watching. I'm not really as quotable with some of the like darker stuff, but like
Hmm.
some of the comedies that I grew up watching a lot. I quote a lot, and the other night I had to stop myself from quoting the movie "I Love You, Man" because I felt like I was annoying Lauren. I was like saying the jokes before they happened. I was like, "I'm sorry. I know that would annoy me." If I was like, "I got to
We all
stop."
do it sometimes.
Right. We all just have those movies that it's like so hard not to quote. Heather's is another one that I quote all the time when I'm watching it and stuff like that. But now, to go back to mentioning quotes from this movie, I think my favorite thing of all time that Reese Witherspoon has ever said in the movie is when the guy's like, "I'm claustrophobic," and she's like,
I get
uh,
claustrophobic sucking strange dick.
"Yeah," like
So good.
that line right there is like, if I ever meet her and she's willing to do
Oh
like
my God. I would
personalizations.
die. I don't know what I would ask her to write, but that would be up there.
Either that or the what is it? Do you believe in your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Or do
Do you
you
accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior?
yeah.
That's
I know
really
she
good,
says it like
Bob.
a couple times to him. Yeah, the way
Yeah.
she like shoots him right
Mhm.
afterwards is so fucking wild. So that might also be
Yeah.
the part because that's one thing is we mentioned the twist where it like shifts to him being a dick and
Hmm.
like being shitty to her, but then the immediate twist when she gets the upper hand back is
Yeah, he's like,
so
you don't know who you're fucking with. Shit.
yeah. No, that shit is so bittersweet when she pulls the gun on him and just
Hmm.
immediately
You
starts
settle
making him
down
like
right
cry
now.
and stuff. Yeah. And she's like, I didn't want to have to do this, but
Yeah.
no, it's so awesome. And then that's one thing I also like about this film is, of course, like most films in the '90s were like super practical, but they don't like turn away, like the camera doesn't turn away from like when she's shooting him, like it shows her just straight up blasting in the back and the back of the
Yeah.
head, and then the way they put the makeup effects on him are just awesome. So
Oh my
and,
God, when she goes to the diner and she's all covered in blood, I
yeah.
feel like that all the time. Like after the haunt, when we go out to eat,
Oh yeah.
like we'll go places just covered in whatever makeup or blood or whatever we're wearing. And I'm always just want to be like, I'll have the double He-Man breakfast with a large size cherry cola because I know
No,
afterwards it's terrible.
I know exactly how you feel, especially because I'm not used to it at all. So
Hmm.
like I we did the one trivia like 2 years ago where I just did like a cheap Peter costume from Hereditary. So I did
Hmm.
like black eyes and like fake blood and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So my face looked like I'd gotten beat the shit beat out of me.
Yeah.
And I went into Wawa afterwards and I was like not even thinking about it. People were like looking at me. I was like, why is everybody staring at me? And I went back out and immediately got in the car and realized I was like, oh shit, that's why. Because I had already
Yeah.
like taken the bandage off and stuff, but the makeup was still all there. So I just looked like I got my ass beat. But
Yeah, we get like so desensitized to it sometimes. We'll just be like, oh yeah, I forgot I have a fake eye hanging out of my head or whatever we're doing.
right. Oh yeah. No, and then no, the diner scene and then the scene where she sees him in court is also one of my
You
like
chipmunk face.
yeah,
Look, you got beat with the ugly stick.
is that you, Bob? Like that whole when the way she gets the biggest grin on her face, I'm like, fucking, it's so like,
It's so good.
yeah, it's so sweet. Like, it's like the cherry on top. And then from that moment on, she pretty much gets, well, I mean, she goes to prison and like deals with like, there's a possibility of her not getting out and this and that. But I feel like her journey from that point on is pretty like kind of, for lack of a better word, fun. You know what I mean? The way she
Yeah.
meets like a couple friends, she like moves through prison with like kind of ease, you know, because she's a
Yeah.
badass. So.
Yeah. So I'm always like, I wish she could just be like healthy and happy and normal at the end, but like she did kill a bunch of people, so she probably ended up back in jail. So
Right. Now, the only thing I was thinking is that they might, because the way that the story uh, plays it, it's almost like they tried to make it seem like she didn't necessarily kill anybody herself to kind of keep her out of prison. Because at the you know, because Elena Dubach's character,
yeah,
like,
Mosquito goes crazy on that guy.
yeah, she kills that girl.
God.
She kills the nurse in the bathroom, and then all she does is like slice the guy, but she's like, I didn't kill you. And so like she like makes a point to say she didn't kill him, and then she tries to shoot the other guy in the trunk, and the gun won't shoot. So the only person she really kills is Kiefer Sutherland if the cop doesn't die. So
Mhm.
maybe she will get off with just like some
Maybe.
uh
What if they did like a 30-year sequel? Like that would be so good.
like her getting out of prison from it.
Probably.
That'd be awesome. They talk about always doing an election sequel and bringing back the character Tracy Flick, but I want to see this type of Reese Witherspoon. I don't want to see the same one we
Let's
always
start a
see.
petition.
Right. Freeway 3. But not this director hasn't really done anything since the Freeway movies much. So it'd be nice. I don't know if he'd ever want to return, but we may have to reach out to him, see what he's doing.
I can just imagine her having like a cult following and having to deal with like social media. Like it would be like it'd be really good. She'd say a lot of fucked up shit and it would be great.
Yeah. No, this movie has so many wild like connections to other stuff too, and it is which makes it like fun for people to watch now for the first time, like as a
Mhm.
cult hit, because like for instance, if you watch Sweet Home Alabama, then the Southern accent's like kind of funny, you know what I mean? And then like
Yeah.
uh what was it? Oh, if you've seen Girl Interrupted, seeing Brittany Murphy in like another like prison movie where she's like a crazy girl, but like in a different way, you know what I mean? Is like, and not to say crazy girl like in a insensitive way, you know what I mean? I'm just shooting off, but to
As a
see her
crazy
like
girl, I accept that sometimes.
but to be so like to be institutionalized in two different ways, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
like but in one way to be playing it goofy and one way to be just like downright sad and stuff. Like she has one of the saddest moments ever in Girl Interrupted.
Yeah.
And then like same thing with like the duality of Legally Blonde in this movie. So it's just it's and then
The range
Clueless,
that
like
they have is so good.
yeah, there's just ways to attach this. And then Danny Elfman doing the score is like something for like as soon as anybody sees that name, they immediately get like a little bit of nostalgic in their heart. So
Yeah.
no, it's wild, but
It's just so 90s. It's so good.
Right. No, as soon as all the cars started rolling through, my sister-in-law was like, "When did this movie come out?" Because that's like all about the part she saw was like that, and like when Kiefer Sutherland picks her up, and I was like, it came out in '96. I was like, but it's probably shot in like '94 if I would assume. So like all these cars are definitely like late '80s, early '90s. But
But the thing is, like, it hasn't aged too terribly because really, like, the only difference would be like kids have cell phones, but
yeah,
like all the other stuff is still happening, you know?
yeah, and you could easily write it off like as her being like because she's from like the poor side of town. That's why she doesn't have a phone and shit. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's easy to, yeah, no, I agree. Like not saying that you need to write that stuff off watching this film because you can just know when it's from. But like say
Mhm.
somebody, and I'm not saying anybody should ever reboot this. Don't fucking touch it. But like
True.
that would be something you don't have to add as cell phones because you could easily just make it like, oh, she's out of minutes or something. You know, like
Yeah.
like she's broke. So no, no, I agree. This is something that still fits, and it's
Timeless.
it's one of those, it's timeless because it was offensive then. So if you're offended then, you're going to be offended now. If you liked it then, you're going to like it now. So it's kind of the same thing with like the scary movies. Like I feel
Yeah,
like people watch those back and they're like, oh, they're offensive. It's like, well,
that was the
yeah,
point.
yeah. It's like I still watch it and have the same blast I had watching it, 10 years ago. So no, I absolutely love this film. I wish I would have found it sooner just because it makes me like see Reese Witherspoon in a whole nother light after watching like I said, like Sweet Home Alabama and Election and all this other shit. So,
I love getting somebody to watch it for the first time because it's just you don't expect her to be white trash Little Red Riding Hood, and it's so good. Like she's such a good actress.
you know, and that's one thing that we didn't really mention yet is that it is the Red Riding Hood story. He's called what, Wolfington or something like that.
Wolverton, yeah.
Wolverton, yeah, Bob Wolverton, and then uh the fact that she has the little red leather jacket, and she even has like a picnic basket when she first heads
Yep,
out
a
with all of her
picnic
shit in it.
basket going to grandma's house.
You know,
And I saw how she's like, "Hey, grandma, blah blah," and she was just telling, her social worker that her grandma doesn't know she exists, and it's like, all right, well, she's 15. Like, it's gonna be
you know,
weird. Some kid comes to your house and calls you grandma, and you've never met them before.
yeah. And I think she even says to Bob at the end, she says, "What ugly teeth you have," or some shit like that,
Mhm.
or what? Yeah. So no, and then apparently the sequel is Hansel and Gretel, but like I said, I still haven't watched it yet. But
Oh, all right. Well, now I'm a little more interested. I did start watching it, but then I just fell asleep.
you know.
That's not an indication of whether a movie's good or not. I'm just old and fell asleep.
I'm right there with you. There's so many times we've covered a movie, and I'm like 9 out of 10. I was like, I had to watch it in two sittings because I was falling asleep and I turned it off. Uh, but no, hell yeah. But no, of course, the movie, like pretty much once they murk the cops and they move on, that's when she does head up. Like she finally, she gets set up by do you remember the character's name? You probably definitely remember the character's name.
Which one?
Elena Dubach, the one that
Cheetah?
Skeeter, Skeeter,
Cheetah.
yeah. She like sets her up and like which she sets her up with like a gun with no bullets in it. She doesn't tell her, but that's a whole nother like little backstory.
Oh,
But
it had one because she shot one at the guy. I
oh
was
yeah,
aiming
that's
at
right.
the head.
Yeah, yeah. No, and then but she like sets her up and sends her off to grandma, and that's one thing that I like about this movie too is that like they have like a small moment there where it almost seems like she's just not going to worry about that. Like you almost wonder like what she's going to do because she just starts to, like she has a car and she has a gun, but then
Mhm.
she goes out there and starts like hooking and stuff like that. So you're like, oh, she's going to fall into her mom's like, is like that what she's going to be is she's going to do, and then immediately when she gets in the car with the guy, she's like,
Give me
uh
all your goddamn money.
yeah, she's like, "Fuck you, assholes," pretty much. And no, that's so I love that she's right back to her like like herself, and like her
Yeah.
whole goal is still just to get to grandma. So now and then when she gets there, that shit is wild. That shit's jarring. I'll be honest. I'm not surprised they edited out the grandma shot in that final scene because
It
it's
was, I was a little shooketh watching it.
yeah
And then no one ever says to call 911. That poor man's walking around just bleeding out the chest.
yeah.
Just bringing an extension cord. Like, mm-mm.
No, I love the way that the cops are like kind of dumb but kind of not in this movie. They're like,
And the gun's going off and they're like running outside trying to dodge it. It makes me giggle every time.
no, I love that they. And that's also like adds to the humor of the movie is the way that at the very end they just smile at each other when she's like, "You got a cigarette?"
Yeah.
No,
I do love the point when the other cop he doesn't believe her. Like he just thinks she's shit. But then he goes to the scene and he finds her hair and he's like, she's telling the truth. Like, and I'm like, yes. I remember
yeah.
the first time I watched it, I was like, her hair is right there.
Yeah, especially because it's like there's that scene where she gets like super racial with him and says like a bunch of really racist shit to him, and then the
Yeah.
other cop tells him like, no, she just said that to make you mad. Like she doesn't really feel that way, and he
Mhm.
didn't believe he was like, no, she's a piece of shit. And then so once he realizes that she has like a black boyfriend, he was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe she really did, maybe she was telling the truth about everything, and maybe I was pissing her off. So it was, yeah, it was almost like he realized that he was just pushing her too. Like he finally realized that he was just being too much of an asshole himself, and
Well,
like
he was
that's
because the other guy even was like, hey, Mike, ease
yeah.
up.
Yeah, and then of course he tells him the same thing with Brooke Shields, and she blows her fucking head off. So it's
Yeah.
like, uh, it-
More training, I think.
yeah. So no, I do like that. It shows like growth of that character within like the few scenes he gets, and then yeah, I like the way that they shoot that scene too. And he walks by, like even though I've seen the film, watching it again today, I was like, God damn it, just find the fucking hair, dude. It's right by your feet. Like he walks by like
Like
three
it's so
times.
like almost off the screen,
Yeah.
but it's right there.
The way they shoot it from like the point of view of the hair is awesome. But
I've been here the whole time.
yeah, reminds me of like everything everywhere all at once, but like that's the universe. We're just all locks of hair somewhere.
Probably.
But any other thoughts or like scenes or anything you want to mention before we wrap up?
Brooke Shields' earrings are so terrible in 90s and amazing.
What's crazy is all the movies I've seen her in, she's always like super just like kind of goofy and campy, and she's even in Freaked, which is awesome. Like kind of makes me think of her like a low-key scream queen from the 90s, just because she pops in and out of these like really low budget horror comedies and stuff, which isn't necessarily a horror comedy, but I definitely feel like it's like a dark comedy that's horror adjacent in many ways, especially
That's
this.
why I was like, I think it might work. There's
Yeah,
murder and suspense.
no, I love this movie enough that I was like, I don't care. It's close, like you said. It's got enough stuff that horror fan. I feel like this is a movie that is going to be loved mostly by horror fans, especially people that love horror comedies and stuff, because there's the ones that can get with like the darker tones and shit. So
Yeah, I was talking to a friend last night and I was telling him that we were going to do this today. And he was like, well, yeah, I always would find it at the horror section in Blockbuster. And I'm like, well, that's good to know.
yeah, no, I definitely if I were scrolling and this said horror, I'd be more surprised by I think this is honestly the reason I never watched the film is because of the original box art, the way it says
Oh, it's
Freeway, and it
kind of
just shows
terrible.
like yeah, it literally looks like a speed ripoff because it shows like Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland, but it shows her like when she's all like dolled up later on in the film, not like her as her like when she has like the like winged eyeliner and stuff still, and
Mhm.
she still looks younger. So she like looks more adult. So I always thought it was like a movie that was supposed to be like a romance between them or something. So I never even looked into it. So if it had this artwork that like Vinegar Syndrome did, I probably would have watched this movie fucking years ago. But
Yeah, the artwork for the 4K was beautiful. And I'm
yeah,
like, I know I had the Blu-ray somewhere because the Blu-ray was with the winged eyeliner, with the tank top. I forget which scene it was from, but it was like mostly just her face.
yeah,
And it was a lot more appealing than the original artwork.
yeah.
But like, I mean, I still have the VHS in the other room, and I'll never get rid of that.
Oh yeah. No, that's got to be iconic. That's probably a hard one to find too, because of the way this film became more of a cult classic than like one that people have held on to over the years and stuff. So, but
Yeah, and
oh
like
yeah,
every couple years, I'm like, let's go look up like artwork because I want like a print from it, but like there's not too much out there. So if anybody likes Freeway and wants to do some artwork, it'd be great because I only have one piece of artwork that my friend made me.
right. No, this is definitely a movie that I could see like a Studio House Designs dropping some shirts for.
Yeah.
I definitely would love to rock a shirt or a Freeway hat. I'm a big hat person, so
Or like cavities tees, like where they do like the sleeves and the front and back, like
yeah.
24 hour, like that would you take my money, I would give it to you immediately.
Hey, they're breaking out more and more and doing like some cult classics and stuff, and not just straight up horror. So maybe we'll get
Yeah.
lucky and they'll do it. But
Yeah, that would be cool. I'll have to tag him in this.
right. Oh yeah. But any final thoughts or anything? And then of course if you want to give your rating on it out of 10.
Oh, it's a 10 out of 10. It's fantastic. I can't say anything bad about this movie. It's so good. Um,
Okay.
literally, if you've never seen it, I will watch it with you. Like it's so good. I will be annoying and quote it throughout the whole thing. At least the original version. The new one, I'm like, wait, what? That's new. But no, it's so good, and the acting is just so good. Like you don't imagine Reese Witherspoon like this, knowing her whole career. And Kiefer Sutherland, like, okay, he was, a bad guy in Lost Boys, but like he's been pretty, you know, mainstream good guy for so many years. And he's a terrible person. And it's just so good. And it's a little bit, girl empowerment in a fucked up way.
Yeah.
I love it so much. That's why I was like, I could talk about this movie forever.
Hell yeah. No, I love it as well. And that's one thing that I completely agree on. It the first time I saw this, it was one of those like I didn't know she had it in her type moments with Reese
Yeah.
Witherspoon. And to see it so early on in her career is what's wild is like you see that and you expect it to like come from a movie like nowadays, which she's definitely done some great performances. Like that movie Devil's Knot, that's based on the Memphis or the Tennessee Three or Memphis Three or whatever. Um she's great as the mom in that, and she's good in like she's fun in movies, of course. Like I'm just a big fan of her in general, but uh the fact that she like has something like this in her, that's kind of vulgar and like she's willing to throw out some words that a lot of people won't say in movies nowadays or definitely don't say in their personal lives. So, no, it's wild that she was willing to do this. And just to be super critical, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. And the only point I'm docking in it is because I always take a point away, or sometimes I only take point 0.5, but I'll go a point just because how far this one can go. And the point is a way for not being for everyone, like not being for everybody. Of course, rated R movies are only for adults, but this movie is definitely something that's going to be too jarring for some people. Some people are going to find it too vulgar and stuff. So the fact that I can't recommend it to everybody is why I won't give it a 10 out of 10. But it's a 9 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10 to the right audience. So, and I'm that audience. So personal
I'll
10
say
out of 10.
if you're a teenager, you're allowed to watch it in my eyes.
Hey, they need to learn life lessons early. So,
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn somehow. Better watch it and not do it than do it and learn that way.
right. No, yeah. Learn how to take care of a serial killer if you ever get picked up on the side of the road by one.
I mean, you got to flip the script sometimes.
Yeah. Keep the gun in the boot.
God,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
doing all them laces and stuff.
Right. She's like, you're going to have to give me some time, Bob. The way she says Bob is just like, I want that as my like
You
text
pop?
message ringtone. Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Do we still have ringtones anymore?
No, I literally, lately my mom's been eating like assistants and stuff because of like health reasons. And but I like stamping the frog. So I'm like, just text me if you need me. I was like, but like feel free to call me. I was like, because my phone just vibrates. I was like, one vibrate might not be enough, but if you call and it steadily vibrates, I'll hear it. And
Multiple. Yeah.
I was like, and it's not that I don't have I was like, it's not that I can't turn my ringer on, but there's no ringer connected for it to ring. So it just would be on silent anyways. So I was like, I had to explain that to her. I was like, I just don't have any ringers attached to my shit. So
That could be the whole thing if they, do a sequel, like, or, the phone was on silent the whole time. That's why we didn't use it.
yeah. Also, she like ran out in a hurry. She also could have like left it at home. You know what I mean? That easily could be written off. Because she like cuffs the lady in the dips. So
Could have died. And I
yeah,
love
that
seeing
too.
that Miss Sheets. I love seeing her in like all the Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fantastic. There's
Oh
so
yeah.
many good people in this movie, and I'm just like, I love them all.
Yeah. No, it makes sense because I was wondering how they got like so many like people and like how this film was so quality. And then when I found out Oliver Stone produced it, I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. The fact, because this director just didn't do so, much more after this. So it makes sense that his company was behind it and how they got, some of these names and, like Hideo that, plays the dad in Clueless,
Yeah.
so.
And then Amanda Plummer, she did
Oh
Pulp
yeah.
Fiction and a bunch of fucked up movies. So like this was perfect for her. I remember the
Yeah.
first time I watched Pulp Fiction, I was like, that's her. And it was just so exciting.
No, she's awesome in a little bit that she's in this too. Like she shines even in the like 5 minutes that she shows up. But
Like when she gets hog tied, oh my God, like
yeah,
insane.
Now, and then of course, one other scene that I didn't really remember was the nightmare. I mean, not the nightmare, the dream where she's like, where it shows her like, which I mean, I might have just missed it the first time I saw the film, but or the first couple times,
Mhm.
like just not really paid attention, but where she's like dreaming and she like sees her grandma standing there waving at her or whatever. Was that in the like original cut or was that something new in the?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice if there was any difference because I was half paying attention, half on IMDb. You know how we watch movies these days.
Yeah, especially when doing rewatches
But
for.
yeah, yeah, it's just like all the like really traumatic shit that just happened to her over the last few days, and then grandma and just the music for that is so good. And then she just wakes up in a sweat, and Brittany Murphy's just fucking staring at her.
Yeah, no, with the
So
freaking scars. That's one thing that I like about her too is her character has so much depth, but there's not you don't get any of the backstory. So not really, but
yeah,
oh yeah, but
yeah, would have been, but
yeah. Now the way that the story moves quick, it makes sense that you don't get backstory. Like everybody you kind of learn about them like in the moment. Like even with um like Bob. The way that he like his character arcs like quick, but it's like all happens on screen, and same with like the cops and all the people she meets in prison. So no, I really enjoy
and
this film and the way
had
it
to,
treats characters.
yeah, I had to like take place over a couple months though because overcoming all the injuries that happened, between Bob and Mosquito, like they're less banged up at the end. Well, not so much for Bob, but
Yeah. No, I guess when she's in the hole in prison, that's when they're like, "Oh, time passed." So,
yeah, I wonder how long she was even there for. I'd never pay attention to that.
yeah, I don't know if they make a little comment about like, because I know they when like right after she gets out, they show the interview on TV.
Hmm.
So I didn't pay.
Not function, but I have not lost my smile.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay enough attention to the interviewer to notice if she said anything about like it's been so and so weeks since your accident,
Mhm.
but maybe she mentioned it, but like in briefing. But oh yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to watch it again and find out.
right. Hell yeah. Any final thoughts before I let you go? I appreciate you for coming on the show. It was a blast chatting with you about Freeway.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking forward to trivia night. Let me know if anybody wants to be on my team. I never win, but I have fun. And love that you guys do that because it's something fun to do. Our little horror community in the area, I think is pretty solid. There's always some fun stuff to do, good people. And
Yeah.
then we've got, all our cons that we have, and then you can come out to the haunt, and we've got other haunts in the area. We've got the Norfolk Haunted Temple.
Oh,
I'm not sure if the one in Chesapeake's still going on, but we're always promoting each other. It's one big horror community, and we're trying to make it a positive place. So
oh yeah.
it's
No,
good time.
I'm definitely stoked for this year's Tidewater, to be out there with y'all again, Frightmare. And uh, no, I'm definitely stoked for trivia. That's one thing is the fact that about one thing I've enjoyed the most about doing trivia is getting to like meet so many people within the horror community. You know what I mean? That's how I've met you guys, and then uh, it's kind of how I met the Tidewater people because they were going to come. They found out about horror movie trivia night, and so they came out there to like sponsor it and give out passes and stuff. And then they already had somebody set up to do panels that year, and so I just went to the show as like a guest, you know what I mean? And walk not like a guest like celebrity, but like a guest, like I just went as like a attendee. And
Mhm.
so and then like walked around and like just talked to Billy and stuff. And then that's when he was like, well, hey, next year he's like, you're more local than the other people. He's like, if you want to do the panels, and then I took over from there. But uh and then of course, just meeting other people, meeting Zach and them with Death Curse and all them. So no,
Zach, my son, who's disrespectful.
he'll be at he should be at trivia, and then of course he's hosting some panels this year, so he'll be hanging out
Yeah.
all weekend at,
Yeah, I
uh
posted about trivia the other day, and I was like, "Who wants to be on my team?" He was like, "I don't. I want to win." And I'm like, "You disrespectful," because he's my son. One, I don't know, it was like 4 years ago or something. He came to the haunt. We had a wrestling match, him versus the entire haunt. I sacrificed him, turned him into Taco Chucky. I gave his wife this black veil and gave her a card that said, "You're going to do so great on Tinder, sweetie." It was fantastic. We have it all on YouTube. It was a great night. He's my son, and he's disrespectful. Let me tell you.
This time, just go sit at his table and tell him he doesn't have a choice. So,
I'm always like, "Shut up. Let me talk to your hot wife."
right? Just be like, oh no, now I'm on your team. That's how this works. They never have sex, so they're never over the limit or nothing. So,
Good to know. Good to know.
oh yeah. Well, now this was a blast chatting with you, and you had a
Yeah.
great pick. So I'm glad that we got to knock Freeway off the list. But
Yeah, hopefully, some more people start watching it and it picks up some random steam and, we can start a petition for a sequel.
right, and of course we mentioned watching our Blu-rays and stuff, but this is on Tubi. So if you haven't seen it, which I mean you shouldn't have listened to this whole episode if you haven't seen it, hopefully. But if you haven't seen it and you did just listen to the episode, it is on Tubi if you want to go check out this wild ride of a movie. So
Yeah, I always tell people it's just a really fucked up version of Little Red Riding Hood, and it's amazing. And it's always on at like 2 a.m. on some station randomly.
yeah.
And it's like so many people have seen it but haven't realized they've seen it, which when I watch it with them, they're like, "Oh, wait, I have seen this." I'm like, "Yes." And I get
Yeah.
so excited.
That's the perfect way to describe this movie. The type of movie that you would stumble upon at 2 a.m. and absolutely fall in love with.
Yes. And you're like, "Was that a fever dream? What the hell just happened?"
Yeah. No, hell yeah. But I appreciate you for joining me. And then, of course, for anybody listening, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of Freeway, what you think of Freeway 2 if you've seen it, because we haven't yet. And then,
We will.
yeah, right. And then just leave a rating, subscribe, whatever's clever for every listening. Thank you so much.
Bye.